ACC PM, Quavion Smith. Tonight, he's going to be lighting it up from that 2-3 zone. He said, man, his eyes are going to be this big. Firing up jump shots all night long. He's a scorer.
You already had a good time at shoot-arounds.
Yeah, he said so. So yesterday we had him on the program, and we got in on a bunch of stuff with him. And, of course, against Boston College, he registered his 1,000th point. He's only a sophomore at NC State.
Mr. 1K.
So we asked him, did you even realize that you're close to 1K? Here's what he said.
No, I did not know that I was close to 1,000. Coach told me after the game, and that was my first time even knowing how many points I had.
So when you're, let me work backwards then. When you're going crazy, because you're a great scorer, do you not know, like, hey, I got it tonight. I mean, the stroke's good, man. I'm lighting this thing up. Do you never have a feel that, hey, I got 20, I got 30, I got 40, whatever it is? It could be a high school game, a college game. I mean, I always thought that scorers knew in the back of their mind, hey, tonight's my night, and you know what? I'm going to light these guys up.
No, I just go out and play my hardest, play with my teammates, follow the agenda that coach give us before the game, stuff like that, and just let it come.
Okay, so when you hit 1,000 points and coach tells you in the locker room, we saw the video, and everyone's dumping water on you, it's an exciting moment. But then you get to go back that night and go to sleep, and you talk to your family. When you realize you've hit 1,000 points before your sophomore year is even over, and you think about that number and the people who have done it before you and really who haven't done it, because it's such an elite group in such a short period of time, what goes through your mind when you realize the accomplishment you've made?
I'm just grateful. Grateful to be here. Grateful to be able to perform how I'm performing. It's exciting for me to have my name mentioned with those other names, those great guys, great basketball players. So it's exciting and enjoying.
I know you came back for your sophomore year, Terquavion, and you obviously wanted to improve. And watching you with Jarkel Joyner has been fun. And when we've talked to Coach Keats, he says, it's cool because they have this great relationship, even though one's much older than the other and has much more experience. But Terquavion makes him better and he makes you better. How would you say Jarkel Joyner, playing with him, has made you better even as a player?
Yeah, that makes me better. Just having that older guy around, older relationship, having somebody who's played a lot of games, great guy off the court as well, great big brother to me. I can learn everything from him. I'll always listen to him, even if it's not encouraging, even if he got to get on me, hold me accountable. So, yeah, it's just a good big bro to have. I'm glad he came to play with me, honestly.
Do you guys have a nickname for the two of you since you're a dynamic duo? Is it like PB&J, Batman, Robin? Do you guys have a nickname?
It depends on the day. I see we call each other nicknames. It just depends on the day.
You can't share? Are those top secret?
Oh, no. I normally call him Peanut, honestly.
Where does Peanut come from?
I don't know. I just said it one day, and I just went along with it.
And he calls you what?
He called me Walnut.
Peanut and walnut.
All right. That's what we're going to go with. By the way, you're on a short list here, and we, I always like doing a little history work. And when I saw the names of the individuals that able to accomplish the scoring feat in which you just did, I mean, Tyler Hansbrough is the last ACC player to reach the mark a little bit quicker than you did, and he was a great player. But over the last 30 years, the only players to match you in scoring in terms of 1,000 points in 60 games or less, Grant Hill, Rashad McCants, Joseph Forte. Now, I'm going to ask you, do you know Grant Hill? I'm sensing you know who he is. Did you did you know the other guys? Did you know those names?
No, I don't.
No. Did you Grant Hill? You know who Grant Hill is, though, right?
I know who Grant Hill is. Yeah.
But Joseph Forte, Rashad McCants, nothing, right? Zero.
No, zero.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him.
He's out here making his own history.
I like it.
That's cool.
It's like, hey, man,
He's
I'm doing my own thing. By the way, who do you tailor your game after?
It's a lot of people. Kind of like Tyrese Maxey, Jamal Crawford, and Jordan Poole probably be my top three.
I like it.
Yeah, those are some of the names. A lot of people on this network have referred to you just playing like them, which that's great company. One moment I can recall from the last couple of weeks is when you guys are blowing out a Florida State team, and we all know how great you are, and you're scoring. But there was one point where you guys are up big, and Coach Keats, I wouldn't say he got upset, but he called you guys over, and I think specifically you, and kind of laid in a little bit and coached you pretty hard. And he said, no, I wasn't yelling at them. I was just coaching them. I liked that about him because you guys were up big, and he was still doing his job. What is it like playing for a guy like Coach Keats, who is still willing to do that, even though you guys are up by double digits and you're still playing your best ball?
It's great playing for Coach Keats. He pushes you to work hard. He wants what's best for you, and he's going to hold you accountable regardless. So it's great playing for him. He gave you freedom to score the ball, shoot the ball. So it's overall a great plan for him. He's going to push to get the best out of you. So,
is there one recurring thing that Coach Keats has told you that's always in the back of your mind when you're out on the floor?
One thing, he always tells us as a team that to have fun. You know, you never know when it's your last chance you're going to play the game, or anything can happen while you're playing. So just have fun. Make sure you're having fun with it.
Quavion, tomorrow night, you guys get Syracuse. I don't need to tell you, man. They've been playing that zone. Jim Boeheim's been playing that zone for 100 years up there. Tells me there are going to be some open opportunities. I would assume a guy like yourself that likes to just fire away from beyond, you got a smile on your face already. I mean, you got to love watching that zone, don't you?
I do love when people play zone. I feel like moving the ball, it opened up a lot for everybody. And we have a lot of shooters, so I hope we have that touch tomorrow.
Where does your confidence come from? Because you have that quiet confidence. Where does it stem from? How far back can you remember being this confident young man?
For forever. Honestly, all growing up, it's always been the same, so it kind of never changed.
Is there someone that challenged you to be that confident when you were young? Is there someone you used to play with a lot growing up that made you have to be the best version of you every single time?
I have to say my dad. He was always around. He always had me in the gym and making me play against older cats and, just pushing me to be the best.
Who's got the best rims? Who's got the best rims in the league? Everybody talks about soft rims all day. Shooters and scorers always talk about soft rims. So who's got the best rims in the ACC?
I have to say, I like shooting at UNC. I like shooting at Syracuse after today too. So this is my first time coming here. They got nice rims out here.
We're going to find out tonight at 7 p.m. sharp.
We'll see if Syracuse heard that comment.
Oh, I'm just telling you. You know, we were kidding around yesterday. We had the infamous ACC PM bump, right? Mm-hmm. Where it's been uncanny how often student athletes or coaches come on the show, and the next thing you know, they have a great week. It's been goofy how often that's happened. So we're going to put that to the test tonight because TS just sat there and said, hey, man, I had a good shoot around. Like the rims. They're going to play zone all night. I love shooting. Confidence, had it since birth. I mean, so this is a dude that knows how to score. So we'll see how it goes tonight.
I have no dog in the fight. Obviously, work for the ACC network. I hope everybody has fun, but I hope because of the ACC PM bump, he goes and drops like 35-40 tonight.
ACC PM on a Tuesday. We had Debbie Antonelli live from Durham, North Carolina, where Notre Dame and Duke get after each other tonight. We've got Syracuse and NC State, and with the call, the play-by-play man himself, Hall of Famer, what is it, like 22-time Hall of Famer?
Might have grown since the last time.
I think it has. There's West Durham right there. Hey, I appreciate you.
Taylor, you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Uh-oh. What's he got?
Look at here, Taylor. That is, wait a second. We got to get Randolph Childress' text off the screen. That is right there, Taylor. That is Mark Packer. Right. Look at there, Taylor. Look at the flow. Look at the hair, would you?
Look at the hair on him. Yeah. That's when the ponytail used to get knocked out, huh, Pack?
Yeah. Yeah.
Looks exactly
There's Fred
the
White
same.
And the great Jeff Mullins right there.
That's awesome.
Little John Coliseum, huh?
That's back in the day where Valentine's Day, you had to fend them off. Wes. Had to fend them off on Valentine's Day.
Swipe and right, left and right, huh?
Stop. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. How you guys doing?
We're good. We're sitting there thinking about what happened last night in Chapel Hill, and kind of curious what's going to happen tonight, because I do think that you've got a marquee game tonight. NC State's playing well. Syracuse with a golden opportunity to pick up their first win against a ranked team. But, Wes, you've got pieces on the floor tonight that if everybody's got their A game, man, you can have the lights out tonight in the Dome. This got a chance to be really good.
Pack, I agree with you. I think we've got a special – it's interesting. We had to make a decision. Our producer, Kristen Hennessy, Dan Bonner, and myself, we had to kind of decide. You could play the script and talk about Joe Girard's great year, Terquavion Smith, right? The perimeter firepower. Add Jarkel Joyner into the mix, obviously, with NC State. Or you could counter and talk about the two big guys. Jesse Edwards is top 20 in 4 categories in ACC play. And then, of course, DJ Burns has become kind of like a cult figure, right, in the ACC. His game kind of belies him a little bit. He's become a guy that can make plays. He impacts games. And I think we're going to have a really interesting contest. And I'll counter you again. You know how I am about this. Here is a single meeting that could have big implications in 3 weeks when we start wrapping up the regular season.
Yep.
Okay, so then you name, the interior game, and you say obviously great backcourts. What's going to be the difference from your vantage point, Wes, in this game then?
Well, I think what happens tonight, Taylor, that gets really interesting, in this building especially, is NC State's ability to take the ball off the glass and go 94 feet before Syracuse sets the zone. Because I think we don't quite know what NC State's half-court offense is going to look like against the zone. Syracuse has won 4 straight against the Wolfpack. And last year they had a shootout in Raleigh. Terquavion Smith took 31 shots to get 25 points. Girard played well in the ballgame. Edwards had 19 points and 6 rebounds. But tonight, NC State, the way they want to go 94 feet, the way they get Burns, the one-step pass, and then delivery for a shot from Morcell or what have you. I think that's the real question tonight. Can NC State get the tempo going? We all expect it to be high scoring, but getting to that style of play clearly will favor NC State, as opposed to if they have to work it around the perimeter, find the creases in the zone. Because as we saw a couple of weeks ago when Syracuse went to Blacksburg, not everybody has Justin Mutz at the foul line, right? Not everybody has that guy 6'6", 6'7" at the foul line that can make the precision pass and all of a sudden get the Couture, the Padula, the three-point shot from MJ Collins down. And I think that's a real challenge tonight for the Wolfpack if they want to keep this going.
Wes, we're getting to the point of the season, too, when you get to mid-February, that, winning the regular season's cool if you can get it. But, man, you better be one of those double-bye teams, right? And you take a look at the standings, and that's why Miami's win last night was so important. Pitt's playing great. You like their schedule. Virginia's legit. You like their schedule. And now all of a sudden, if you're NC State, boy, this seems like a big week, right? This game tonight, North Carolina on Sunday. You get Clemson at home coming down the stretch. I mean, if you're the Wolfpack, you can almost taste that double bye if you just take care of your business.
Hey, are you surprised that I'm going to have cards with lots of colors on them tonight, Pack? Are you surprised to hear that I may have cards with colors?
It's an art project.
That's what you do. That's what you do.
Yeah, okay. So here's my fun card, right? I've got the top 5 teams in the ACC and their remaining games, okay? It's almost like I knew I was coming on the show or something. NC State has the hardest road in terms of the winning percentage in conference play of their 5 remaining opponents. Their remaining opponents are 45-29 in conference play, including tonight, and that's a winning percentage of almost 61%. The easiest path belongs to Virginia, and, of course, that begins tomorrow night with Louisville. Their opponent's winning percentage is 31.8. The hardest team Virginia has left is a home game with Clemson in a couple weeks. But I think your point's well made. Now, we can talk about Pitt and all the things that Pitt has to do, but where Pitt falls into this, and I think this is where it's important for NC State tonight, is Pitt has to take care of business against teams below them in the standings before they get that year-end game on the final day of the regular season against Miami. Same for NC State. You get Syracuse on the road tonight, you get Carolina Sunday, and you don't think the Wolfpack Nation won't be waiting on the Tar Heels to get there at 1 o'clock Sunday?
Yep.
And then Wake Forest comes to Raleigh, and you know how Wake and State have been here recently. Then Clemson goes to Raleigh. And I don't have to tell you, that could be a monumental game for the Tigers. just in the way things are setting up for them. And then NC State goes to Duke midweek, the final week of the regular season, because Kevin Keatts, who a month ago I don't think was crazy about having the full bye at the end of the regular season, gets the entire week off. He plays Duke, I think, on a Wednesday night, and then would not have to play again if he gets the double bye till the following Thursday, 8 days later. So I agree with you. I think NC State's playing to try and get the double bye, and I think those 4 are a given for the NCAA tournament the following Sunday.
And Wes, given the depth of this NC State team, biggest word in sports, if NC State can get to that point and get 8 days with probably the deepest team in the league, that is a humongous advantage. Not only for the ACC tournament, but even beyond.
Well, no doubt. And I think the one thing you see tonight is Jack Clark played 10 minutes in his return to the lineup on Saturday at Boston College. Does he get a few more minutes on top of that tonight? Maybe so. Their ability to compensate for the loss of Mahorsic and Clark for better than 10 games each. And now Mahorsic has missed 16 and likely the rest of the season. But Jack Clark's return to the lineup, how does that impact Ernest Ross, Greg Gant, DeWanna, the guys who have come in and helped DJ Burns, who Kevin didn't know if he could play more than 14 or 15 minutes a game. And Burns has not only become a 20-plus guy, but DeWanna and Ross and Gant have come in and given them productive minutes more often than not during that time as well.
Okay, so that's the NC State side. The Syracuse side, we know they're not vying for a double bye when it comes to the ACC tournament, but at the end of the day, they're still 98 in the net. They have pieces that they could potentially make a run. In talking to the coaches in this team, what's their mindset at this point in the season?
You know, the scary thing, Taylor, is Red Autry and Jerry McNamara just told Dan they feel like they're getting better every time they take the floor. And now they've had a week off after beating the Seminoles at the Tucker Center last week, where they, came from the halftime deficit. Gerard got hot, finished with 26. And they've now shot 50% or better in 4 of their last 6 games. So, to me, Edwards has always been a piece. If he can stay out of foul trouble tonight, it's crucial. But when you look at Syracuse, they're one of those teams that might be 6, 7, or 8 once we get to Greensboro. But, Pack, how many times have we talked about, well, heck, a 6 won it last year, right? Virginia Tech was a 6 seed. A 6, 7, or an 8, that's going to be a dangerous team because 1 through 10 in this is going to be frightening when we get to Greensboro. Tuesday is a 3-game schedule, but the tournament on Wednesday is going to be, I think, the beginning of what is going to be 4 days of terrific basketball at the Coliseum.
By the way, we got to go, but if you could tell John Wildhack, the only thing that would be better watching Syracuse basketball from the couch is if he sends us some dinosaur barbecue so we can enjoy watching Syracuse basketball from the couch.
Come on.
Holy cow. Really? Want to make sure you get your food plug in? Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the least we could do. All right, man. Be good. Enjoy it. Tell Vicky happy Valentine's
Day. Be well.
Day.
Take care, guys. Thanks. See you soon. Happy Valentine's.
Off he goes. Wes Durham, 27-time Hall of Famer.
Up to 27 just in that segment.
He picked up 5 just in that interview itself.
Yeah, during that.
Just like that.
It's crazy.
When we come back, we're going to give you a little snapshot of the Dome. I think Joe Girard's out there making a ton of shots, talking about them soft rims. Okay, we're going to find out tonight because we got some bombers tonight now. Some scores out there tonight with Syracuse, NC State. Come back, we put a bow in this bad boy and get you ready for hoops tonight. It's, again, Valentine's Day, guys. Just letting you know. It's ACC PM right here on the ACC Network.
And watch it there.
Here's the big man right there, DJ Burns.
DJ, turn it up.
Looks nice and loose, relaxed. Gonna be a good one tonight, boys and girls. I'm telling you, we're about 11 minutes away from Syracuse, NC State. Here's old Judah Mintz. You can expect him to light it up tonight. Again, this game's got
hair dye?
This game's got. I'm telling you, this game's got a chance tonight to be really, really entertaining. But again, Rookie of the Week for Judah Mintz, Filipowski. They've been kind of a 1-2 combination. And there's our guy, Terquavian Smith, who loves those soft rims.
That's walnut.
Yeah, that's it. We'll see if he gets the ACC PM bump. For all the smart people in Bristol, folks, enjoy the hoops. We'll catch you tomorrow right here on the network.
We welcome you to a Tuesday night doubleheader of ACC Network basketball, and we get you started in Central New York here at the JMA Wireless Dome. Syracuse back at home, and they host number 23 NC State. And as we get cranked up, how about a check of the ACC standings on this Tuesday night? You see Pitt and Virginia at 11-3. Miami, a win last night, and Chapel Hill goes to 12-4. There's Clemson, who meets Florida State tomorrow night, and then the Wolfpack in double figures at 10-5. And with Dan Bonner, West Durham, we welcome you courtside to our coverage. We could start this tonight by talking about the scoring guards of Joe Girard and Terquavion Smith of the Orange and Wolfpack. Nope. We're going to go to the big boys. And DJ Burns has been a big boy for the Wolfpack.
Let's talk about the inside game. You mentioned DJ Burns from North Carolina State. This is a guy who nobody really knew what to expect from him, but he has been one of the outstanding players for the Wolfpack. Look at the numbers in the last 5 games. A big guy who uses his body very effectively. He's got great touch on the inside. Now, it'll be interesting to see how he operates against this Syracuse zone defense. He and Jesse Edwards for Syracuse, the other one of our big guys, they are going to really be an interesting battle.
Edwards at 6'11", 10 double-doubles on the year. And the other stars tonight, well, they're the 2 top scorers in conference play in the ACC. Joe Girard from Glen Falls, New York, at 18.8 points a game in conference play, coming off a 26 at Florida State. And there's the baby T, the sophomore Terquavion Smith from Greenville, North Carolina, averaging 18.5 points, 9 games of 20 or more, and 7 against the ACC.
Wes, North Carolina State has the top scoring backcourt in the ACC, and Syracuse is number 3, so could have a lot of points up on the board tonight.
Orange have not played since last Wednesday night, and a 9-point win at Tallahassee. NC State beat Boston College by 30 on the road at Chestnut Hill Saturday afternoon, and they have stayed in the Northeast and enjoyed themselves, including a beautiful day here in Syracuse. Here is the freshman Mintz against Jarkel Joyner, with Bill Covington Jr., Bert Smith, and A.J. Desai on the whistle. Opening shot no good. It got scrambled around, and rolling into the corner was Greg Gant to try and pick it up. You see Gant draws the start with Burns, Morcell, Joyner, and Terquavion Smith. It will stay with the Orange. I don't think Joyner could quite grab it. And here is Girard weaving off an Edwards screen. Mintz. Here's the rookie from California, Bell, knocking down the jump shot.
Now, Wes, you notice that Mintz passed up that three-point shot. He's not a good three-point shooter. Bell, who also passed up a three-point shot, does a really nice job to step inside and take the short jump shot.
Dan, what do we need to look for from NC State against this zone?
Well, I'm really curious to see what DJ Burns is going to do in the middle of that zone, because he's a very good passer.
Offensive rebound off the Joyner miss by Morcell. Foul line area, here's Burns. Little runner with the left hand.
That's where Burns is at his most effective, Wes. If he catches the ball there and tries to dribble through the zone is going to have to collapse and make him give it up or take the ball.
Being tied at 2 on the soft hook by Burns. And Bert Smith with a whistle, and that's on Casey Morcell, trying to stay with Joe Girard. It'll be the first on the senior from Fort Washington, Maryland, who plays tonight against his childhood buddy Judah Mintz. They grew up on the same street in Fort Washington. Here's Mintz on the drive against Burns. Gant the rebound, and a foul will be tagged to Malik Brown. It'll be his first, and the first on the Hall of Famers team. Jim Boeheim, 1,013 wins and now 47 seasons at his alma mater.
Now Gant is going to take over in the middle of that zone. One of the things you hope to accomplish in the zone is prevent the dribble penetration of Smith and Joyner. They are both very dangerous with the basketball.
Here's Joyner with Girard, 8 to shoot. Burns turns, and it rimmed out. Edwards collects the rebound for the Cuse.
Now, it's not that Burns can't make that shot. He can, Wes, but I think he's much better when he's bumping his body on the inside and making those little spin moves.
Girard missed everything, and the ball last touched by the Wolfpack, says A.J. Desai.
And one of the things we've seen early, Wes, is Malik Brown has been very active on the offensive boards. North Carolina State's going to have to find him and block him out.
Gerard off the Edwards screen knocks down the triple. 73rd three of the year for Joe Girard.
Joe Girard is a guy who can really score, Wes, and about half of his field goal attempts are threes, but his two-point game has been outstanding all year.
Orange in front by 3. Burns tried to fire one into the corner off the hands of Joyner, and NC State gives one away in the half court.
Now, Burns is a good passer, Wes, but sometimes he's an adventurous passer, and you don't want to do that against Syracuse. That Syracuse zone really effective at forcing turnovers. In North Carolina State, a team that does not turn the ball over very much.
Here is Girard off the Edwards screen again. A little up and under on Morsell, fell off the rim. Casey Morsell the rebound, and I think the foul will be on Girard. It'll be his first. It'll be the second on the Orange.
Girard is trying to claim that it wasn't really him who committed the foul. It was one of the NC State guys who ran into Morsell, but that's a good argument, but the video replay does not support it.
Smith wants some help here, and Burns doesn't quite get the angle for the screen, so Gant for Joyner. Boy, Syracuse doing a nice job extending in the zone, Dan.
Well, not only extending in the zone, West, but the Wolfpack is standing.
Yeah. Here's Smith. Floater blocked by Edwards. Mintz off and running. Has Girard. Judah tried to get to the rack. Knocked away Joyner. Back for Edwards, and he lost it. Girard off the save near the timeline with 18 to shoot.
Well, that's not typically the way you run a fast break, but Syracuse is able to hang on to the basketball.
Mintz reroutes off the screen. Here's Girard. Long 2. And the backside rebound for Smith.
And this is what North Carolina State would really want to do. They want to push it.
Tried to dump it into Gant. Turned over there. Back to Joyner. Now Morsell standing 3. Too strong, and another chance for the Pack. And down is Smith on the inline. And A.J. Desai hit the whistle. And Terquavion is shaken up here.
Well, Wes, he went flying through the lane, and I watched I watched where the ball went. I didn't see what happened to him, but he could have fallen into the photographers. Seems to be he's going to stay in the game, so that's one of those things. If he's looking over at Kevin Keats and thinking he needs to come out of the game, Kevin Keats is going to turn around and look the other way.
State's gone almost 3 minutes without a basket. There's Smith trying to get on track. Back rim miss, 4th chance. Joyner, right there's Burns, rolling on Edwards, fouled. We'll get a timeout. It'll be the first on Bell, the 3rd on the Orange. The Cuse by 3 early.
DJ Burns can really be a load on the inside. In the middle of that zone, Wes, he can take the ball and drive it to the basket. And you see Chris Bell, number 0, a little slow coming over. Now this time, Bell gets there a little faster, but still not fast enough. You got to move your feet and get in front of Burns. That time he reached in. Got to get, and now of course, it's easy for me to say you got to get in front of that guy, but Burns is somebody who can really operate in there, and what he would like to do more than anything else is get his body up against you and use that body to score close to the basket.
You know, we had the NC State Duke ball game, in early January, and I remember that night, first night without Jack Clark. Obviously, Mahorsic had been on the bench already with an injury. And there was grave concern in the NC State locker room about their ability to compete inside. Dan, 5 weeks later, that narrative is gone.
That narrative is totally gone. They're just hoping to keep Burns out of foul trouble and try to get him some rest so he doesn't have to play 35 minutes a game.
State's drought comes to a close on the free throw. And now Morsell steps in and steals it from Brown.
Very important for Syracuse that when they turn it over, they get back quickly on defense.
Here's Burns, skip for Clark. Here's Jack Clark, who returned to the lineup on Saturday for the first time after missing 10 games. Rimmed off the front rim from Smith. There's Burns. What a turn and score by the big fella.
Wes, and that's what he does. You know, he is a big, strong guy, but he's not necessarily a power guy in there. He's got all those little spins. How did he get that ball in the basket?
Because he's a dancing bear is what he is. DJ Burns has got he's got all 5 of NC State's points. There's Edwards, and Burns fouls him.
And that's where the problem is going to be for North Carolina State, because he's matched up man-to-man against Jesse Edwards, and that's tough. Now look at this, Wes. Burns, he just picks up the ball. He looks, he fakes, pivots, and while he's still spinning, he gets a ball in the basket. He didn't bank that in, he just spun it in.
A couple of free throws for Edwards after the first on the grad student DJ Burns. Jesse is 72% at the line and knocks it down. Don't forget ACC Unity Week tips off Saturday. We've got a doubleheader for you on ACC Network. Pitt is tied for first in the league, and they'll visit Virginia Tech. Dan and I'll be at the Castle, presented by Subway at 5 o'clock. And then Louisville is going to honor the 10-year anniversary of their 2013 team. And Clemson, remember, they played a tight game the first time. The Tigers will be there. Our coverage always available on the ESPN app.
And Virginia Tech struggling to stay in the hunt for a potential at-large bid. And Clemson, they got to get some wins, Wes. They put themselves in great position, but they faded a little.
Yep. Tigers are 77 today in the net. Clark out of the corner. And the rebound for Edwards. Jack Clark, 6'8", grad, transfer, played at LaSalle. Missed 10 games with a lower abdominal injury. Whoa! Edwards couldn't finish the dunk. Clark commits the foul. Terrific look. And Clark will pay for it with his first and the third on the Wolfpack.
Really good movement by Syracuse. Edwards just goes right through the 2 players. It was a little screen, and he just went right to the basket, and 2 guys went with Girard, and Clark couldn't get over in time.
Jesse had his 10th double-double last Wednesday night in Tallahassee in the win against Florida State. 18 points on 6 of 14 shooting and 12 rebounds and 3 blocks.
Well, Wes, he has been such a factor, you know.
Yep.
Blocking shots, rebounding the ball. Now, he missed that free throw.
Orange with a 3-point lead. Wolfpack yet to draw up a 3. In fact,
look how far away they are, Wes.
There's a lob for Dewana. Got knocked away. Recovered by Joyner, who was playing at the foul line area. Now Morcell with 10 to shoot. Quick bounce pass. Here's Jarkel. He'll shoot it over the top of Edwards. Hit the rim. Long rebound belongs to Joyner. Here's Clark. Right back for Joyner. Wide open. Got it.
That's the best look they've had, Wes. They get the ball inside, force the defense to collapse, and then kick it out. Joyner's not going to have very much luck if he's trying to shoot it over Edwards on the inside. But that wide open 3, yeah, he'll take that.
Orange hadn't gotten a field goal in 4:09, and Edwards missed the layup there and then committed the foul, I believe, on the rebound by Ebenezer Dewana. And that'll be the first on the 6'11 senior from Amsterdam.
Well, once again, though, North Carolina State does a very poor job on the screen situation, and Edwards just can't get it to go in the basket. He's very disgusted with himself. And he's so valuable. He's got to be careful about those fouls. That's just a little giveaway foul. Can't afford those.
Look at Joyner now playing the foul line role. Here's Morcell, a standing 3. Benny Williams onto the floor a moment ago to replace Brown. Pulls away the rebound.
And Morcell has drawn the assignment of Girard. That'll be an interesting matchup.
Taylor missing the 3. Justin Taylor into the ball game, averages almost 20 minutes a game against the conference. And there is Smith, a turnover, and then Joyner commits the foul. It'll be the first on the Ole Miss transfer, Jarkel Joyner. It'll be the 4th on State.
And that was a break for North Carolina State because Jaquavion Smith was a little bit out of control. They're trying to push the ball, and you want to push the ball, but you have to do it under control.
That's against Joyner. Smith's got the assignment on Girard. And they get in the corner, and here's Joe. Working against Jaquavion Smith. Tried to throw it out front to Williams and stolen by Clark, and then Benny Williams commits the foul.
Benny Williams was a little surprised by that pass, Wes, and he didn't step to it because he thought Gerard was going to do that back down move and take a shot.
Yep.
And Gerard has made that back down move very effectively all season long.
Gerard's out, and Symir Torrance has come onto the floor. Senior from here in Syracuse. Averages about 10 minutes a ball game for Coach Boeheim. Quick pass, Dewana up strong. Taylor got a hand on it, I believe. And here's Mintz out of there with it for the Orange. We're tied at 8. Lob for Williams. Inside catch and score. Benny Williams first point.
That's a really good pass, Wes, and a nice catch in traffic. But nice job by Syracuse to run off that blocked shot.
Foul line, Joyner turns and scores. 5 for Jarkel Joyner.
And Wes, that's where he needs to catch it, in the foul line area, in that area between the top of the key and the free throw line, because it'll be hard for Edwards to come out and cover that.
Edwards with Dewana defending at the block. Boy, Mintz is fun to watch, isn't he, Dan? Just a terrific young player.
That's a great matchup. Mintz going against Joyner.
Here's Taylor now. He's got 3 to shoot. Here's Torrance on the drive. Blocked. Dewana slapped up in the air and a shot clock violation. Ebenezer Dewana's 20th block of the year, and an emphatic one. We're tied at 10 in Central New York on ACC Network. Well, it's Valentine's Day. That's all I'll tell you. It's 10-all here at the Dome.
What does that have to do with Valentine's Day?
I'm just saying it's Valentine's Day. We're seeing 2 great perimeter shooters in the ball game tonight. And not that they'll get this mark, but it's a nice reminder of what Curtis Staples did in 1998. In 16 games, he took 196 three-point attempts, Dan.
Well, and that's a lot of three-point attempts. And here's 2 guys who take a lot of threes as well. But you can see they got a long way to go to get to 196.
And just a reminder of how good Staples was in taking that many shots. Gerard and Smith are both big wheels in their respective offenses. And, yeah, somebody's in the neighborhood. I'm not saying they're in the same street with Staples, who was a terrific player. Burns feeds Clark, reverse, good, and the Wolfpack's got the lead.
So you're playing off Burns a little bit because you don't want him to get that drive, and that allows him the vision to make that pass inside.
State back in front. Layup no good from Edwards off the short jump shot.
And I think that's a good idea by Syracuse to go right at Burns.
Joyner drops another one. He's got 8, and he's coming off 26 at Boston College.
And that's 2 consecutive assists for DJ Burns in the middle of that zone.
Wolfpack scored 5 in a row to take a 5-point lead. Mintz trying to answer. Burns the rebound. You heard Smith call for it.
Now Smith wants to go.
Yep.
But see, you have to be patient. If you can't go, then you got to attack, and you got to attack by getting the ball in the interior of that zone, either with the dribble or the pass.
There's Clark, squeezes baseline, Burns another assist. Jack Clark's got 4, and NC State forces Syracuse to take a timeout on 7 in a row. And DJ Burns again, Dan.
Right, DJ Burns, they've scored 7 in a row on 3 baskets, 1 being a 3, and Burns has assisted on all of them.
Another look, the big fellow with the clean bounce pass. State by 7. Well, Dan, DJ Burns has come in this ball game, and he gave him a scoring lift earlier. He's got 3 straight assists.
He was on the bench with 2 fouls, and then he came in. He had got 3 straight assists, 2 leading to dunks at the obviously right next to the basket, and the other a 3-point shot. And those are the 7 consecutive points for North Carolina State.
That's a 9-0 run in total for the Wolfpack. Torrance lobbing inside the catch, and Brown had it roll off the rim.
Weston, that's 3 times now that the Orange inside players have missed from point-blank range.
Joyner had it rattle out on a pull-up 3.
Twice by Edwards and that by Brown. Got to finish those.
Symir Torrance. Lob for Edwards, hit the window, and look out. Here is Terquavion Smith.
Now, Wes, that's what the Wolfpack does. They want to force turnovers and get going. They lead the ACC, number 9 in the country, in fast break points. You don't want them to get out and go.
Torrance looking for position. And the rebound pulled away by Joyner, and a backcourt foul on Symir Torrance, or was it just knocked out? Just knocked out.
Wes, Syracuse has to be patient enough to put the ball in the hands of Edwards in scoring position. DJ Burns has 1 foul. They need to try to get Edwards in the post against Burns to see if they can pick up that second one.
Joyner gets a break for Coach Keats. And L.J. Thomas, a 6'2 freshman from Plant City, Florida, averaging about 11 minutes a game in conference play, steps into the lineup wearing number 4 for NC State. Gerard had it pumped away, and a foul on Terquavion Smith. His first, 5 on the Wolfpack. Here's the thing that gets you about Smith. We get caught up in all the offensive flowers, right? All the scoring. He's averaging almost a steal and a half a game, Dan, and oftentimes, you mentioned this earlier, is drawing the best shooter on the opposing team's backcourt. Here's Morcell. Baseline, tried to skip it back, and Bell finally tapped it along from Edwards. 5 to shoot. That's a miss that Thomas collects.
Boy, the NC State defense just has the Orange really flummoxed. Again, Syracuse missed 3 point-blank range baskets. That hadn't helped the cause.
Smith, quick pass Burns. Here goes Clark again, baseline. Back for Thomas. Smith loads.
Good heavens.
Banged off the back rim.
He was standing on the M in the JMA zone.
Gerard knocks down a foul line jumper. 5 for Joe Gerard. He leads the Orange, who trail by 7 with 8 to play first half.
Syracuse got down early to Florida State, West, and they did a really nice job battling back. They're going to have to do that again tonight.
Morcell working against Brown. Here's Thomas attacking on the dribble. Back for Terquavion, foul line Burns, left hand turn and score. 7 for DJ Burns on his 3rd field goal.
Wes, interestingly enough, he's better with that little hook from that distance than he is with the facing jump shot from that distance.
I think you just like it because he shoots the hook shot.
I find him one of the more entertaining players in this league.
Yep, missed by Bell, the follow by Brown. First basket for Malik Brown, averaging 7 against the league. NC State again has Burns in that foul line area. Here's Thomas, who shot fake. Into traffic, traveled with it. That'll get us to a timeout. So the Wolfpack's got a 7-point lead, and the perimeter stars have announced their presence. Baby T with the hammer, and a moment ago, Joe Gerard takes the scoring lead for the Orange. Hey, don't forget Saturday afternoon on ACC Network, women's lacrosse at high noon. The number 1 team in the country is North Carolina. They're going to host number 7 Florida at Dorrance Field in Chapel Hill. It's available for you always on the ESPN app as well. And the Stars are out tonight in Central New York. You know who that is right there, Dan?
Well, you just told me and I forgot.
That's the Michael Jordan of lacrosse.
Okay, all right.
That is Gary Gate, who, of course, for many years was the Syracuse women's lacrosse coach and now is in his 2nd season as the men's lacrosse coach. But he is known as Air Gate.
It's always good to have Michael Jordan be your coach.
No. He's the Michael Jordan of lacrosse.
Oh, okay. All right.
Edwards left it short against Burns. Jeffsey's having a tough night against DJ Burns.
He really is, and Burns is doing nothing more except standing there and making making Edwards shoot over that bulk. Syracuse West now 5 for 20. Not going to win very many basketball games like that.
Breon Pass wearing number 10 for the Wolfpack also in the ballgame. Little floater from Smith, no good. And Edwards collects the rebound. 7-point lead for State. Gerard and the Orange have won 2 straight. They're 9-5 at home, and Joe knocks down a deep three. He's got 8 now.
Boy, that's a huge basket for Syracuse, Wes. And Kevin Keats is really upset with Breon Pass that he did not handle the screen very well. You cannot get caught up on a screen if you're guarding Joe Girard.
Nope.
Because once he gets set, look out.
Pass doesn't play much for Keats against the league, and there's a turnover. Smith tried to fire an entry pass to Burns, and a lob and Brown. And that'll get a Wolfpack timeout. Malik Brown on the back end of the lob. 5 in a row by the Orange to draw to within 2 when we continue.
Well, one thing you can't do is turn the ball over against this Syracuse defense. Nice job by Jesse Edwards. Now look at this, Wes. He nearly runs into Mintz, but Mintz maintains his poise and finds Bell open underneath the, excuse me, that's not Bell, that's Brown.
Right.
Open underneath the basket.
More importantly, though, 5-0 run by the home team.
This is what we talked about. Syracuse battled back in the game against Florida State. They battled back now, and the defense got them started.
Mintz and Girard at the front of it, if you will. Here is Clark. Tried to skip it back out front. 11 to shoot. Joyner a pull up. Knocks it down. 3-point goal for Joyner. He's got 11. 3 of them triples of his 4.
Now, Syracuse is really scrambling on defense, and sometimes when you scramble, you create an open situation.
Mintz got Joyner in the air, and a terrific play by Judah Mintz. First field goal for the freshman.
And that's Mintz's game, Wes. Taking the ball into traffic like that, he can really make those plays.
Reigning Rookie of the Week in the ACC. Here's Burns. One hard dribble. Now Morcell tees up a 3. Clark will get called for the push. It'll be his second. 6 on NC State. And the second on Jack Clark in his second game back after missing 10 with the injury. And that'll bring Ernest Ross onto the floor. There's the 6'9" sophomore from Florida. State had an 11-0 run. Syracuse had a 7-0 run. All told, we got a 3-point game. And boy, that ball got saved by Mintz and right to the Wolfpack. Morcell for Burns. Turning on Edwards. Got caught. Bounce pass. Smith couldn't finish the layup.
Ball slipped out of his hand, Wes.
Yep. Mintz. Bounce pass. Brown. Terrific pass by Judah Mintz.
Wes, I don't think terrific is enough to describe. Wow.
Yeah. Orange to within 1. And the building rocks. Smith. Front rim miss. Here's the run out. And Bell pushes Syracuse in front. What a react from Boeheim's team, Dan.
Boy, they really turned up the intensity, Wes. And they've done it with defense. They forced turnovers from a team that rarely turns it over.
10 to shoot. Here's Ross. Skip for Joyner. Aims, fires, bounces out. Edwards had it and lost it. And A.J. Desai's got a whistle, and it's on Terquavion Smith. It'll be his second. It's the 7th on NC State. Timeout on the floor. Orange making a move here, Dan.
And then suddenly these shots that they were missing, Wes, are going in the basket. Syracuse has gotten back into the lead, Wes. The defensive help, they have forced 6 turnovers here in the first half against the team that only averages 8 in ACC games. They've done a nice job. There's a blocked shot, so that starts a fast break, and they've executed very well on the fast break. North Carolina State is back, but they're not really guarding. And then some questionable shot selection. And sometimes when you take bad shot, that leads to easy baskets going the other way. So the combination of those factors has really turned this game around.
Second foul on Smith. And Terquavion puts Jesse Edwards to the line for a 1-and-1. And he makes it 26-24. All 4 of Edwards' points in this first half have come at the free throw line. One of the concerns tonight for the Orange, Edwards has 9 straight games where he's committed 3 or more fouls. He's fouled out of 5 games this year, including 3 against the ACC. So you got to be mindful of where he stands as the game wears on. He's got 8 rebounds and 5 points. Now, NC State at the other end, more than half their field goal attempts have been threes here in this first half.
And that's what the Syracuse defense will force you to do. You say, okay, I'm open. Well, maybe you are, but maybe you're 2 feet further away than you should be.
Here's Morcell with another one, and that's his first basket of the game. 68-3 of the year for the #1 percentage three-point shooter in the ACC. At 45, Girard tries to answer. Ross the rebound. Poked away by Brown, but recovered by the Pack. Tied at 27. Burns a kick out. Morcell another one. That spins away. And Edwards gets his 9th rebound.
Wes, I thought Burns kicked that one out a little too quickly that time. I think when you catch it in there, you have to turn and face and force him to guard you. Smith's got to be careful.
Yep. Out of the corner, 3 ball. No good by Bell. Smith tried to shake Mintz. Inside, here's Ross to catch. Too strong on the shot. Had 3 white shirts around him.
That's a nice job by Edwards to just go straight up in the air.
Girard had it swiped away by Smith, who picked up his 3rd.
You know, Girard does not nearly have the speed or athleticism that Terquavion Smith has, but he is really a skilled player. That was a hesitation dribble that got Smith off balance, got him behind the play, picks up his 3rd foul.
So in less than 2 minutes, Smith picked up his 2nd and now his 3rd. Here is Girard, who is 85% at the free throw line. Now, Joe is a guy, Dan, who does not have enough attempts per game to factor into standings in terms of stats. But this guy's clearly one of the most talented free throw shooters in the country, let alone the ACC, and he's got 10 here in the first half.
Wes, he doesn't, as you say, he doesn't go there that often because his job isn't really driving it to the basket where you would pick up fouls.
Burns, Ross the dunk.
And that's why you turn and face when you catch the ball in there, Wes.
Tied at 29. Final 86 seconds. Mintz. Pull up. Good. Oh, pretty stroke for Judah Mintz.
Wes, he's really good with that pull up.
Fun ball game and a good one here. Morcell to Burns. Tried to go again. Batted away. Turned over by the Wolfpack. Girard rubs off the screen of Brown. Got Morcell in the air. No whistle. Morcell on the run out after he defended Girard, and Casey Morcell's got 5. Crowd here wanted a foul on the shot by Girard against Morcell. Tied at 31.
Well, Girard was looking for the foul.
Bell, tough shot, knocked it down. 6 first half points for Chris Bell.
Boy, and Girard is still talking to the officials about the fact that they didn't call foul. So's Jim Boeheim.
Yep. Well, Jim Boeheim's got 47 years of receipts. Joe Girard's got about 3.5.
2-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock.
Joiner for Morcell. Here's DJ, foul line, missed it. Orange by 2.
Oh, wow.
And a foul called
on Burns.
Yep. So 1-1 with 4.5 seconds left at the other end. Second on DJ Burns, Dan.
Well, and Burns, he missed that shot, and out of frustration, he goes and he's trying to get the rebound. Wes, you just have to let that one go because now they send Bell to the free throw line with a 1-on-1. Syracuse would have had a tough time getting that ball up the court.
Bell, by the way, 12 of 15 at the free throw line this season. Freshman from Concord, California, knocks the first one down. Chris Bell averages less than 6 a game in league play. He's going to have 8 at the half. Orange by 4. Joyner, and a foul called on Mintz, which is the 6th on the Orange with 2.4 left.
Well, you know, Wes, I've never been a guy that believed in giving fouls at the end of the first half, because a guy like Mintz, he might need that foul later.
Here's Joyner running 3 at the horn, too strong, and boy, Syracuse, who gave up an 11-0 run by NC State, really tighten the screws, Dan. They're going to take a 4-point lead to the locker room.
What a great response by Syracuse, Wes. They started very slowly, but wow, did they finish well.
All right, stand by. Joel Berry and Luke Hancock with the king of Marshall Street, Drew Carter, in our ACC Network studio.
I don't know, Wes. I think Marshall Street got the better of me most nights. I'm Drew Carter in the studio. ACC Network halftime report. Luke Hancock, Joel Berry along for the ride. And how about Syracuse coming all the way back after NC State led by 9 at one point of the first half? Luke, I know NC State looked great offensively to open up this ball game. How'd they do it?
Yeah, I thought it was a whole lot of DJ Burns. He's such an underrated passer. Gets that lefty, just smooth game going. If he gets to his left hand, it's over. But the fact that he is such a good target in there, you know, the touch is great, but he is a phenomenal passer, so he can catch it in there. And it's forced Syracuse to make all kinds of adjustments. They do not want their center playing all the way to the free throw line because he can't protect the basket. When DJ Burns has that touch, he's making those great passes, Jesse Edwards has to extend up the lane. It makes guarding them so much harder in that 2-3 zone.
Yeah, 4 assists for DJ Burns in the first half. It feels like every time a good passing big man plays against the Syracuse 2-3 zone, we're asking everyone, hey, what's the career high for assists for that big man? DJ Burns is halfway to his, which is 7. But Joel, Syracuse comes storming back. They now lead by 4 at halftime. How'd they get back into it?
Some of the shots that they were taking earlier, Syracuse was missing, but they started knocking down shots. They had a couple of fast break points. Joe Girard has 10 points here in the first half. Just being able to get him going is very key for this team. But for this for Syracuse team to get going, they have to play ahead of this NC State defense, and that's what they've done to get themselves back in the game. Not playing in the half court, getting out in the break, getting some easy baskets. And once that rhythm started for Syracuse, they got things going and they started knocking down shots, and that was key for them.
Yeah, they lead by 4 now. Joe Girard with 10 to lead the Orange. Jarkel Joyner has a game-high 11 on the other side. By the way, Jesse Edwards played all 20 minutes in the first half, and he has 10 rebounds already. On ESPN, the Irish and the Blue Devils. When we come back, NC State and Syracuse. It's a 4-point lead for the Orange despite 11 from Jarkel Joyner. We'll separate the contenders. It's a 4-point lead for the Cuse after NC State led by 9 at one point of the first half. The second half is right after this.
Well, game 1 of our ACC Network basketball doubleheaders at halftime. Syracuse 35 and number 23 NC State 31. Welcome back courtside at the JMA Wireless Dome with Dan Bonner, Wes Durham. Great to have you with us on a Tuesday night. Don't forget Boston College and Pitt follows us tonight from the Peterson Event Center. Interesting first half. Really one about runs for both schools, Dan.
Yeah, Wes, I thought it was interesting mainly because Syracuse was down by 9 points with 9.5 minutes left in the half, and they made 7 of their last 11 shots, and they did it, Wes, getting out and running. They forced some turnovers, blocked some shots, got some rebounds, but it was the Syracuse ability to get out on the fast break that got them good shots.
And NC State, though, lived behind the line a little bit in the first half. The Wolfpack, 17 of their 34 field goal attempts were three-pointers.
Right, Wes, and they only made 4 of them, and thank heavens for them. They brought Jarkel Joyner because he made 3 of them. He has 11 points, and he basically kept the Wolfpack in it late in the game. But Syracuse, this is what we were talking about. They turned up the defense. They forced 7 turnovers. NC State only averages 8 turnovers a game in ACC play. But the main thing is they were able to get out and run. Jesse Edwards, one of his 10 rebounds in the first half, and they get out and go. A nice pass by Mintz. NC State leads the league in fast break points, but in the first half it's been Syracuse getting out and going.
Well, you see the fast break points at the bottom of the screen, the three-point shooting. Edwards, of course, the 10 rebounds already. Terquavion Smith has got 3 fouls and only 2 points as we start the second half. Jack Clark replaces Greg Gant in the lineup for Coach Keats here and the Wolfpack. Joyner at the foul line. He spent time there, as did Burns. Jarkel misses the 15-footer to start the half. If
Joyner's going to be in there, Wes, I think he needs to move more toward the top of the key to force Edwards to come out.
Here is Gerard, the Orange's leading scorer, only player in double figures for Syracuse. Bell, who had a terrific first half, can't get the layup to fall. Here's Smith on the run out, trying to make it a 3-on-2. Morcell a triple. And Clark couldn't tap it home, controlled by Malik Brown.
And you talk about Smith on the run out, Wes. He hasn't been able to do that very much tonight, and that's an important part of his game in the Wolfpack game.
Mintz on the drive, and he will turn it over. Oh, no, A.J. Desai and Bert Smith say it was deflected by NC State. So it will stay with the Orange.
Well, that's a break for Syracuse because Mintz, you can't drive in there, leave your feet, and try to pass the ball in traffic.
Here's Mintz. Step in, a little leaning 2 is good. Half dozen for the freshman Judah Mintz.
And that's the second time we've seen him get Joyner off his feet, collect himself, and make that mid-range jump shot.
6-point lead for the Orange. It's their largest, and there's a shot to run in from DJ Burns, who started the ball game with 7 quick points and didn't score the rest of the way.
Didn't score the rest of the way, so they got to get back to getting him involved through the Wolfpack.
Yep. Lots of dribbling by Mintz, and now here's Edwards. Remember, Burns plays with 2. Jesse, an array of moves, missed the shot, got his own rebound. One more time, Burns bothered that. They go to the deck. Edwards with 18 to shoot now on a reset clock. Bell trying to work on Joyner. And Clark finally the rebound.
Burns' bulk, I think, is bothering Jesse Edwards. He's just not able to power the ball to the basket.
Burns left alone, put up the jumper, and tapped home. Morcell, I believe?
Yes.
7 for Casey Morcell. Here's a lead, and Gerard has it roll in. He's got a dozen.
Morcell had that tip in, Wes, and he's the guy trying to guard Gerard, so he's stuck under the basket. Gerard got down the court very quickly. Nobody helped out Morcell.
Burns, foul line jumper. A little more initiative out of the big fella here at the start of the half.
I missed telling Edwards, hey, go get him. Jesse Edwards and Jim Bam are having a little bit of a conversation as Edwards is coming back up the court.
And there's Joyner. Little push on Mintz. It'll be his second, first on the Wolfpack here in half 2. Kevin Keats' team off to the best 25-game start since 2006, Dan. I mean, 17 years since NC State's been this good through 25 games. They're 20-6, 10-5 in the ACC playing tonight. The 3-ball by Bell out of the corner gives him double figures for the 4th time in the last 9 games.
Well, Wes, in ACC play, 72% of Bell's field goal attempts are from beyond the 3-point arc.
Clark, short jumper, answers for the Wolfpack. Half dozen for Clark in his second game back.
Clark's in there because he's a very good rebounder and a better offensive player than Gant.
Mintz and 1. The foul on Joyner will be his 3rd. Or no, it's on Burns. Beg your pardon, not Joyner, it's DJ Burns' 3rd.
Yeah, Burns is the guy who reached in as Mintz was going by, and Burns, you know, that's really tough for him. He's got to move his feet to try to get in there, and if he doesn't move his feet, just let that guy go by. You're too important to pick up a foul in that situation.
Judah Mintz 5.5, 9 in the game. He's averaged 17 in the last 6, including shooting 48% from the floor.
Yes, he scored 14 points in the last 13 minutes of that Syracuse game.
Stolen but thrown away on Brown, trying to start a fast break for Syracuse. Clark a 3. Too strong. It was an air ball. Orange with the basketball, up 6. Gerard trying to size up Clark. Joe into traffic, feeds Edwards. 3-ball bounded away. And taken by Gerard and blocked by Burns. And then Joyner back the other way. Here's Smith a 3. Air ball, Morcell the rebound. Joyner will try one. Air ball, Clark cleans it up. 8 for Jack Clark.
Wes, sometimes the hardest ball for a defender to rebound is the air ball.
Mintz in the corner. Bell had it partially blocked. It'll hit the end line. It will stay with the Orange.
Wow.
NC State is just 4 of 19 from 3. The Wolfpack comes in averaging almost 9 threes a game. The struggle is real as the Orange lead 4. Joe Lunardi's got the dossier for Boeheim and his Orange going into tonight. No quad 1 fans.
Well, and that's the problem. And then their upcoming schedule, as the net stands today, they only have one quad 1 opportunity left. That's February 25th against Pittsburgh. And this is a Syracuse team that started very slowly, but they've played pretty well of late, so they're an improving team. But right at the moment, it looks like their only chance to get into the NCAA tournament is to win the ACC tournament.
Here's Mintz out of the timeout, a little floater to his left.
That was a tough shot.
Yep. Smith in the pack. And here's Joyner. Thought Clark was going to the foul line for a moment. Now here's Burns flashing up there.
They want to get ball movement and player movement, and that ball has to go inside the zone.
6 to shoot. Here's DJ Burns working on Edwards. Inside left hand, scores.
And that's what he wants to do, Wes. He passed up the 15-foot jump shot so he could go and bump Edwards and score.
13 for DJ Burns and a miss by Edwards.
When Edwards has really struggled. I mean, he's had some opportunities in close against Burns and simply hasn't converted.
Clark had it blocked by Edwards.
These are the 2 best shot blocking teams in the ACC, so it's not a surprise.
Nope. 3-ball Gerard. Rebound to Brown. And now here's Mintz to work. Smith playing with the 3 fouls. And what a save by Bell off the feet of Morcell. 7 to shoot for the Orange.
That's a great effort, but one of the things that we see is it's very difficult for Syracuse when they have to play against the said NC State defense. They've got a 17-4 advantage in fast break points.
Mintz back into traffic, put it on the window and score. Terrific play. Mintz has got 7.5, 11 in the ball game, and the lead back to 4 for Boeheim's team.
He's got some wiggle about him, doesn't he, Wes?
Yep. Here's Burns again. Back out front. Smith itching to pull the trigger and draws the foul from Chris Bell. His second, first of the half on the Orange.
Now, Wes, what Burns did when he caught the ball inside, he didn't turn and face the basket. And I think he's got to put pressure on the defense. Every time he gets it in there, he's got to turn and face the basket. That doesn't mean he's got to drive or shoot. But you don't have to worry about him if he keeps his back to the basket out at the free throw line.
Here's Smith, and that's a long 3. So Quavion is in a drought from behind the line, does not have a 3. Morcell commits the foul, or Clark, I beg your pardon, commits the foul. That'll be his 3rd, and the 3rd on NC State.
Well, Terquavion Smith, West, is a guy who can miss 6 in a row and then make 6 in a row. So he's not going to stop shooting them.
He's 1 for 9 from the floor, 0 of 5 from behind the line. The dunk in transition, his only basket of the ball game in the first half.
This has been an interesting battle, Joyner against Mid.
Yep. And Morcell drawing Girard. And here's Edwards and Burns with 10 to shoot. And one. DJ Burns just picked up his fourth.
Wesson Burns has done a pretty good job keeping Edwards away from the basket, but Edwards that time with this pivot, he takes and pivots and is able to get in on past Burns' shoulder and force Burns to come across.
First field goal of the night for the young man from Amsterdam. And Dewana comes in and Burns goes out.
Wesson, there's 13 minutes left in this game. NC State is down by 6 points, and Burns has been such a huge factor for them, not only with his scoring, but with his assists in the middle of that zone.
And Edwards has got 8 points on his 6th made free throw in 7 tries.
And Dewana is a very good defender, but he is not the offensive presence that DJ Burns is.
Foul line area, Joyner. Smith launches, hits. On cue, Dan.
Well, I'm telling you, Wes, now he can make 4 in a row.
Terquavion heard you talking over here.
Well, he plays with such enthusiasm, Wes, and he has tremendous confidence.
3 ball away, and Joyner on the knockout. Here's the pack, and Morcell thought about it. Look at here, Joyner. Terquavion wants another crack at it from the top. Spins out. Girard collects it for the Orange.
I think if you're NC State, you take that shot every time.
Absolutely. Here's Girard trying to drive it. Got knocked away. Terrific defense by Morcell.
And again, Syracuse gets back very quickly.
Smith over the top of Brown. Oh, wait a second. It kissed the side of the window and dropped in out of the corner.
Wes, I don't know that I've ever seen a ball hit that high on the backboard.
I saw Larry Bird shoot one from behind the glass one night in New Orleans, and that one, I think, kissed the top of the glass from deep in the corner.
I agree with you.
Oh. Here's Syracuse immense on the drive. He will draw the foul, and I think Dewana will pick up the personal. It'll be his first. It'll be the 5th on the Wolfpack. State is to within 1, and Terquavion Smith might be trying to light the pilot light here tonight in Central New York. That one from out front, and then this one. Oh! Back after this. There's 1 or 2 things Kevin Keats is doing in the game. It's either this or pacing.
Yes, absolutely. And of course, he has his team in pretty good position. They had a great non-conference schedule. They only lost to Kansas. Their net is a very solid 36. They're 3-4 in quad 1 games. Joe Lunardi has them as a number 8 seed, number 30 overall, which means they're right in the middle of the number 8 seeds. But you don't want to lose a game on the road to a team like Syracuse, because
98 in the net today, or the
98 in the net, and so that's and Syracuse is a team that can beat you.
Yep.
And if we're talking about Syracuse and their remaining quad 1 opportunities, according to the net today, the only one that NC State has left is February 28th at Duke. So the quad 1 wins, they're the gold in the currency.
Morcell, 10 to shoot, and almost stolen. Now they got to hurry. 5 for Joyner. Here's Morcell over the top of Bell and left it on the front rim, and Brown pulls it away for Syracuse. Orange are 9-5 at home, but just 3-3 against the league in this building this year. Of course, you know, frustrating losses to North Carolina and Virginia. Here's Brown lobbing Edwards to catch. Dewana blocked it, and then Jesse gathers and scores. 10 for Edwards. He's got his 11th double-double of the year.
And he got 2 rebounds out of that, Wes.
Lead is 5 again. Joyner was looking for the outlet and instead drops an 18-footer for his first basket of the second half. And a foul on Dewana as Edwards collected the lead pass. It'll be the second on the junior from Accra in Ghana, Ebenezer Dewana.
Now that, Wes, that is a heck of a play to recognize that. I didn't see, I was looking down the court, so I didn't see who took the ball out of bounds. But to recognize that play and execute that pass, that is really smart and really aggressive.
Here is Brown fighting inside and easily beats Morcell for his.
And there's Gerard again. That's twice he's done that.
Yep.
Kevin Keats is back to pacing. That's got to be frustrating.
Mintz trying to beat Clark on the bounce. In the corner, Bell. Long rebound, Brown, but couldn't hang on. Here's Smith in the pack. In the corner, Morcell. Attacks on the dribble. Clark, a three. Got it. Jack Clark. His 21st three of the year. 7.5, 11 in the ball game for Clark.
Well, they missed Clark badly. He had that groin injury, but again, he was in the lineup to start the second half because of his offensive ability, and he showed you right there.
Entry for Edwards.
That's where the ball's got to go.
Taking Dewana inside, got poked out by Smith. Loose ball collected, Bell, three to shoot. Now here's Edwards with two. He'll launch. Got it!
His first three-point basket of the year.
Clark to answer. Cannot. Joyner the rebound. Step back, two off the baseline. Here's Gerard and the Orange on the run. Lob. Bell couldn't hang on. Dewana couldn't either. It will stay with the Cuse.
That was a 3-on-1 fast break, a very poorly executed 3-on-1 fast break. But Jesse Edwards, the clock running down, just takes his time.
Look at Copeland in the back of the off the Syracuse bench, dancing on the baseline. Gerard tried to hit one off the curl.
Look out now.
And a foul in transition will be on Bell. Chris Bell's third, just the second on Syracuse.
Well, it's a good idea to try to stop Terquavion Smith, because once he gets going, he is very dangerous in that transition game.
Here's Morcell against Edwards, and that'll draw a foul on Jesse Edwards. To Edwards' credit tonight, Dan, that is just his second foul. And a guy who's got a propensity to get himself in foul trouble has played under control, really, from that perspective tonight for the Orange.
Yeah, he has, but the interesting thing, Wes, is he's been under control playing mainly against DJ Burns, and I think that he's defended him really well for the most part. NC State really hasn't driven the ball much at him, and I think that's a much harder thing for Edwards to defend without fouling.
Morcell, 79%, has got his 8th point on his first free throw. Casey spent 2 years at Charlottesville, came over last year as a transfer, and of course averaged just 6 points against the league. He has doubled that number in conference play this year.
Well, Wes, he's already made 67 three-point baskets this year. In his time at Virginia and last year at NC State, he made a total of 60.
Yep. Markedly improved basketball player is number 14 in the red. 3-point game. Edwards working against Dewana. Turns and cannot score it. Smith the rebound.
Nice job by NC State to force him to catch the ball well away from the basket.
Terquavion cannot tie it on the three.
Edwards is going to have 20 rebounds before
and
this.
Gerard took a shot in the face around the nose and then turned over. Here is Joyner going to the basket, and Clark couldn't follow it. Morcell's got the rebound, and an offensive foul called on Casey Morcell.
And Joe Girard's nose has had a tough couple of possessions.
And now Kevin Keats is fired up. Girard will be helped to the bench by A.J. Desai. The foul on Morcell, and boy, Casey's upset. We got a timeout. Come back. No telling what will happen in the last 7:39. Orange up 3. Well, 59-56 Syracuse. During the break, Bert Smith and Bill Covington Jr. and A.J. Desai were at the monitor collectively, Dan, going through a sequence here.
Well, we had a couple of things going on here. Joe Girard got hit in the face right there by Casey Morcell, who was just trying to put his arms out to prevent the pass. And then the next time Casey Morcell got the ball, the arm comes out there. And so Joe Girard goes down. I'm not sure that that's a...
Not sure anything's there, is it?
Well, I don't know, Wes, but the referees went over and they looked, and what they're looking for in that situation is the flagrant 1 rule is contact that is, well, they're allowed to go look at a flagrant foul, okay, and they didn't make a call. So, but the rule is that is the contact excessive and or unnecessary, and the officials in this particular case reviewed it and decided that it was neither.
Okay.
So it's not a flagrant foul. It's a common foul on Morcell.
7th on NC State. But because it was an offensive foul, no free throws with 7:39 to go, and it is the 2nd on Morcell. All of that aside, it's a 3-point game with 7.5 to go.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on here.
Yep. Vince against Joyner. Girard, by the way, on the floor after taking a couple of shots. Mintz a spot up at 16 feet. What a second half for Judah Mintz. 11 and a half, 15 in the ball game. On his 6th field goal. 5-point lead for the Orange.
This is an important sequence here for North Carolina State. You don't want to let Syracuse run out any more on them.
Morcell, 5 to shoot. Kick for Clark. Back for Morcell, 2-1 at the shot clock horn. Clark the follow. Boy, Jack Clark now, 9.5, 13 in this ball game.
Wes, he is an outstanding offensive rebounder. That was a big basket for North Carolina State.
Lob for Edwards. In tight, put it up. And the follow is good for Brown. 5th field goal, double figures for the 6th time in conference play for Malik Brown.
Yeah, but Brown and Bell have both produced tonight for Syracuse, and that has been a big factor.
Joyner over the top of Edwards. Dewana slapped it out, but into the NC State bench. Last touch by the Orange, says A.J. Desai. Now, Dan, DJ Burns is still sitting over there with 6 minutes to go on Kevin Keats' Wolfpack bench. Smith for Clark. And a foul on Brown. That'll be the 2nd on Brown, 4th on the Orange. Partisans here don't like it.
Well, Wes, I think you'd have to bring Burns in if the game was getting away from you. And that last basket by Clark sort of kept the game from getting away from him right at the moment.
So tending to the quad with the Theragun over there, I noticed.
You leave him on the bench as long as you can get away with it.
Dewana the dunk. Nice pass by Joyner, and Ebenezer Dewana's first basket of the game.
Again, Dewana's not much of an offensive threat, but you can't just ignore a guy that size close to the basket.
Those are his first points in the last 4 NC State games. 5.5 to go. 3-point game. Mintz. He's been terrific. Turned over there by the Orange. Here is Joyner. Back for Terquavion Smith, and we are tied. 9.5, 11 in the ball game for Smith. And an Orange timeout. What'd you say? He might miss 5, but he could turn and hit 5 on you. Well, Terquavion Smith and the Wolfpack have locked it up at 63 tonight at the Dome.
Ooh. Wow. Yeah, that meets the definition of a blockbuster.
Jalen Wilson's pretty good, huh? For the Jayhawks. We've got a good one tonight. We're locked up at 63. Terquavion Smith had a 2-point first half. He's dropped 3 triples here in the second half. Jesse Edwards has got his 11th double-double of the year. And Jack Clark, in just his second game back after missing 10, has been terrific for Kevin Keats.
And NC State has gotten back into this game, Wes, on the strength of some fast break points. They've finally been able to get out and go.
Here's Gerard working against Morcell. And Casey tried to bother it. Gerard hits a tough shot. He's got 14.
And Gerard, he has become so good backing people down, even a guy the size of Morcell.
Orange by 2. Foul line, Clark to tie. Got it. Jack Clark has got 11 in the second half, 15 in the ball game.
Wes, it's interesting. Jarkel Joyner had 11 in the first half. He's only got 2 here in the second half.
Edwards working against Dewana.
Mismatch inside.
Here it is. Oh, a kick out for Gerard. Step in 2, block. Casey Morcell, tracked down by Joyner.
Boy, Brown has to turn and face the basket. Now, I mean, he's got a much smaller Joyner against him, and he just gave the ball up.
Under 4 we go. Smith, long 3. Terquavion Smith, 14 now in the game. On the drive, Edwards, the dunk. 15 tonight for Jesse Edwards.
Got to get back on defense. Terquavion Smith was doing a little bit of celebrating, a little too much celebrating, and Syracuse created a 5-on-4, and Edwards was able to get the dunk.
Joyner at the foul line. Backs out with 10 to shoot. He'll shoot over the top of Edwards and hit. You said?
Well, Joyner is a guy who can really create some space on that step-back jumper, and Edwards a little reluctant to go all the way out there to guard him.
Mintz trying to get some help off the Brown screen. Now for Gerard. 10 to shoot. And Dewana stuck a hand in. Morcell goes to the deck. Edwards tried to make the save. Here's Mintz for 3. Yes! Tied at 70 on just the 10th 3 of the year by Judah Mintz.
He's a 20% three-point shooter in ACC play. That doesn't matter tonight.
Morcell, 8 to shoot. Back for Casey, a shot fake. Another 3, it's too strong. Brown, the rebound of the air ball.
Morcell's now 1 for 9 from out there, Wes. And DJ Burns is getting up off the bench.
2 minutes to go. Here is Mintz again. Lob for Edwards. Back down on Dewana. Turns, scores, and draws the foul. Ebenezer Dewana's 3rd, 8th on NC State. My goodness. Judah Mintz, what a time for this. Goodness. And then Jesse Edwards will try and complete the 3-point play when we come back to the Dome. Well, prior to tonight, there have been 109 ACC games played so far. 35 of those 109, about 32% have been 5 or less or overtime. There have been 4 overtime games. The home team is 21 and 14 in those 5 or less games.
Wes, the home team really did a nice job coming back in this one. And NC State came back and tied the game, and Syracuse has responded again. DJ Burns back in the lineup for the Wolfpack.
And Edwards trying to take it to a 3-point lead and does. Boy, Jesse Edwards has been really good tonight for the Orange. So Burns and Clark, kind of a double high post here, Dan, at least initially. Burns plays with 4, don't forget that. Here's DJ working inside on Edwards. Left-hand move and 1 for the big fella. Back off the bench and right to the rack goes DJ Burns.
And this is what he does, Wes. He gets in there, he's got one-on-one against Edwards, and he just uses that big body to get himself close to the basket. Jim Boeheim very upset. He's claiming that Jesse Edwards went straight up in the air
to tie the game. And he does not, and Mintz gets the rebound.
And now if you're the Wolfpack, you've got to dig in here defensively. And I think if I'm Syracuse, I'm going to try to get the ball to Edwards in the low post.
Now Gerard with 8 to shoot wants some help. Here's Edwards, 3 to shoot. Baseline, Gerard going to throw it up. It's a shot clock violation on the Orange.
That was really good defense by North Carolina State. Burns did a nice job forcing Edwards well away from the basket, and the pressure on the ball by the Wolfpack meant that they couldn't, Syracuse couldn't see inside to find Edwards. Now let's see if the Wolfpack goes right back to DJ Burns on the inside.
65 seconds to go. Smith picks it up and calls a timeout. How about that? He let it roll all the way to the front court in a little gamesmanship.
Well, Syracuse is back in the zone. And so they didn't get out to pressure. Now, Wes, this is really, the wheels are turning strategically. DJ Burns just went back in the game and they went right to him. And he was able to score the basket and draw the foul, although he missed the free throw.
Dan, for almost 8 minutes of clock time tonight, this game's been tied.
Wow.
It's been some kind of ball game now. And Kevin Keats, let's kind of go to the huddle here a little bit. You're Kevin Keats. You've been attacking from the perimeter. Boy, Jack Clark's been great for you, in second chance points especially. And now Smith and Joyner have hit big baskets. But Burns has been reliable, it feels like.
Well, Burns is the guy, Wes, who all throughout the game when he's been in there, when they've been able to get the ball to him, things have happened offensively. The Syracuse defense has to respond to Burns having the ball in the interior of that zone, and that has created opportunities for other players.
Yeah.
Now, Jack Clark, he did most of his scoring when Burns was out of the game. But remember, we've talked about Clark. He's a great offensive rebounder. Casey Morsell has not shot the ball well from 3. So if you're Burns, you get the ball inside, you either make the move, you try to find Clark down low, or you find Joyner and Smith on the outside. The defense really pushed up here for Syracuse.
Yep. Joyner tried to lob it into the big fella, and there he is. He'll take Edwards to the basket. And they are going to call an offensive foul, and Burns fouls out. DJ Burns is going to foul out on an offensive foul with 49.3 left. And 15 points.
Wes, we've talked about the play of Jesse Edwards tonight, and he just moves his feet. And Wes, this is something that you never see DJ Burns do, and that is lead with that shoulder. When you lead with that shoulder, you're going to get the foul called on you every single time.
And they're going to go to the monitor here. I believe, are they going? No monitor. Not quite sure what the stoppage was for.
Well, they may have been talking about going to the monitor in the last 2 minutes, you're allowed to go see if a secondary defender was or was not in the restricted area, but Edwards was not a secondary defender. He was the primary defender. So if he was in the restricted area, it wouldn't matter.
And a timeout for Syracuse because they were in trouble in terms of putting the ball in play.
But one of the keys to DJ Burns' game, Wes, is his ability to back into you, to get his backside into you and then spin. But that time he was at the free throw line. He's driving to the basket, and he lowered that shoulder, and we've seen that all year. You lower that shoulder, you're going to get a charge call.
They see the game reset. Here's another look at what you're talking about.
So here's Burns driving to the basket, and Edwards is clearly in the restricted area, but he's the primary defender. The only guy who's not allowed to take a charge in the restricted area is the secondary defender. And Burns just, I mean, again, you hardly ever see DJ Burns get that foul because he doesn't usually lead with that shoulder.
So he fouls out with 49.3 left. Still a 1-point Syracuse lead. One timeout left for Jim Boeheim, 2 for Kevin Keats.
Well, if you want to foul, the guy you probably want to foul is Malik Brown.
Yep.
But you don't have to foul yet.
You've got 20-some seconds differential shot clock to game clock.
Obviously a huge possession, and I think if you're Syracuse, you'd like to try to get the ball in the low post to Edwards.
Yep. Screen from Mintz. Runner, no good. Edwards a rebound with missed everything.
Didn't hit the rim.
Right. And here's Mintz back at Dewana, and they're going to call a foul. Out from underneath. It is on Ebenezer Dewana. It'll be his 4th.
Well, Mintz is the guy who can get to the basket. He drives it hard, and Dewana is going to get the foul call, Wes, because he moved his body into him. That's not a situation where he went straight up in the air.
So here is Mintz to shoot a pair. First one good. 2-point game.
Well, he's not a great free throw shooter in conference play, Wes. He's at 70%, and overall he's at 74%, so that's pretty good.
4 for 4 tonight as the freshman. And making 5 for 5.
Syracuse stays back in the zone.
Timeout, Kevin Keats. He'll use one of his 2 here. And if you're NC State here, Dan, you still have 1 timeout left. It's a 3-point game. The easy choice is to go for the 3 to tie, but he's got enough of a team and enough depth. You take the first look here, go to the basket, get 2, cut it to a 1-point game.
Wes, I don't think you have to take the 3 in this situation, but whatever you take, you have to do it quickly. So you do have enough time. If you get a really quick drive to the basket and you can score, you still have the timeout left. But again, then you put it on your defense, and if you can't get a steal, then you're going to have to foul, and Syracuse has made free throws tonight.
Well, we've seen Jesse Edwards score 5 points in the first half, but he had a bushel of rebounds, and here in the second half, he's tallied his 11th double-double of the year.
Well, Wes, he was finally, in the first half, he had some opportunities but wasn't able to capitalize. But in this half, he's done a great job getting great position, and then his first 3-point basket of the year. How big is that going to seem if this ends up being a couple of points game?
Well, how big is the 3 by Edwards and the 3 by Mintz going to be?
So Edwards, who had never made a 3, and Mintz, who was shooting it at 20%.
And so Mintz, Gerard, Brown, Bell, and Edwards return for Coach Boeheim.
But keep in mind that Kevin Keats has on the floor some 3-point shooters of his own. Joyner, Smith, Morcell, and Clark are guys who can all make a 3. But again, I don't think you need to go for the 3. If you have it available, then you take it. But you try to get the ball in the middle of that zone. And again, it's hard to drive through the zone. But whatever you do, you have to do it quickly.
Right back to Terquavion Smith. Now here's Joyner. Dewana helps with the screen. Clark.
You got to go.
Sure do. 10 seconds.
Now you have to take a 3.
Joyner to tie. Off the mark, Dewana can't tap it home. Slapped out with 3, 2. From midcourt, here's Terquavion Smith, and the Orange win. Third straight win for Kevin Keats, or for Jim Boeheim in Syracuse tonight, as you see an exchange with the two coaches here. And a Joyner 3. Dewana tried to follow and got knocked back out, Dan, and a heave at the horn.
Well, Joyner got the shot that he wanted, but great pressure by Jesse Edwards. And then tipping the ball out, Wes, that was a pretty good play because you just didn't have time to respond. And the worst that can happen is that they tie the game.
5 guys in double figures tonight for the Orange. First win against a ranked opponent in 2 years for Boeheim's team. They go to 9-6 with Duke here on Saturday night. NC State welcomes Carolina to Raleigh on Sunday. Thanks to our producer, Kristen Hennessy. Great to be with Dan Bonner. West Durham, the final, 75-72. Here is Drew Carter.
That was intense. Catch your breath. What a finish in Central New York. I'm Drew Carter here in the studio alongside Luke Hancock and Joel Berry. And a lot of headlines from that one. What was Jim Boeheim saying to Kevin Keats at the end? Terquavion Smith close to tying it at the end. Jarkel Joyner, a triple-double for NC State. They're 5th in the last 25 years as a program. Luke, we'll start with you. What stands out to you from Syracuse's win?
Well, first off, I thought Judah Mintz was fantastic. His ability to just drive past that NC State defense and make the right decision when he got in there was fantastic. Made tough shots kind of all night long. And then his running mate, when you can get Jesse Edwards to dominate the game the way he did, 18 points, 16 rebounds, was the enforcer in the middle, made the extra plays, blocked shots, changed shots. He did a little bit of everything. Those two, the combination, too much for NC State. They were almost playing not to lose down the stretch there. I thought they relaxed too much on the defensive end.
Yeah, 5 guys in double figures for Syracuse. NC State, good point, Luke. They're an 8 seed right now in Joel Lunardi's bracketology. They lose to Syracuse for the 5th consecutive time. How about you, Joel? What stood out to you for Syracuse?
Just how they did it as a collective group. This is a team that is led by Judah Mintz and Joe Girard, but Jesse Edwards is that third piece to this trio, and he played unbelievable tonight. But you got to talk about their other guys, Brown. Those guys stepped up tonight and were really big. All 5 starters were in double figures. This was a collective win, and Syracuse needed this win to be able to keep their NCAA tournament hopes alive.
Yeah, it's a good point, Joel. Must win for the Orange. Joe Lunardi said they probably have to finish 4-2, including this game, to have any chance of getting back in the conversation for the NCAA tournament. It's a 75-72 win for Syracuse, and what a game it was. You heard West Durham say 8 minutes of game time plus. These two teams were tied as the Orange ultimately win it.